Welcome back. I believe I've already discussed the importance of writing skills at the beginning of our last interview, but I don't think MHS is opposed to all this attention on the subject of being able to write well, especially from Fabian Middle School. They have recently adopted an initiative called MHS the WRITE Way, and its sole purpose is to help students become more proficient with what is called cold writing. Tamy Smalskas, Rose Carter, and Malcolm Slaughter from MHS join us now to explain more about the WRITE Way. Well, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having us.
I can't tell you, at first I honestly did look at the spelling of the WRITE Way whenever I got notes on this, and I'm like, okay, what is the right way that we're talking about? Because we don't want the wrong way, but and when I taught at Boyd, that was there was always the do the right thing phrase that we had to live by. But this is McKinney High School, and you guys are talking about writing in the classroom, writing outside of the classroom. All outside of the classroom. You're shaking your head like, no, they don't write in. It's not in class time.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the three of you, and then we'll kind of get into what this initiative is. Ms. Smalskas, you're assistant principal at High. Have you? How long have you been at High?
I'm the associate principal at McKinney High School. That's okay, and I've been there. This is my 6th school year.
What is the difference, associate and assistant?
There's quite a bit of difference. In some aspects, I'm primarily responsible for all the curriculum and instruction in the building, and being the principal's kind of right-hand person. And I don't have the fortunate or unfortunate opportunity of doing the discipline. The assistant principals take charge of that, but I'm primarily responsible for all the curriculum and instruction and the instruction in the classroom, and building the master schedule, putting all of the puzzle work together on that. So I've been here for 6 years.
Oh, that's terrific. And about your family?
I have 2 little ones. I have a 4-year-old, Dakota, and a 22-month-old Darby, and they both come to school at McKinney High School at the preschool program. And I've been married now for a few years, and before that I taught in Fort Bend and was an assistant principal in Houston ISD, and before that I was a teacher in Canada. I came down here after teaching 9 years in Canada to come teach in Texas.
That's great. What subjects did you teach there?
Everything. I taught everything from grade 4 through 12. I taught art, drama. I taught home ec French. 1 year I had grade 9 science, grade 4 social studies, and grade 7, 8, 9 math, and grade 8 home ec.
Wow.
Yeah. A little bit of everything,
That's
mishmash.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I came down for a couple of years just to teach, but then I ended up getting married, so here I am.
Understandable. Well, that's awesome. Well, you definitely are the right person for the job with
right
all
way.
all that's experience there. Malcolm, tell us a little about yourself. You're a senior this year, right?
Yes, I am.
That's great.
I have one brother that goes there that plays varsity football.
It looks like you play basketball. Is that right?
Oh, no, I'm the manager
Oh,
for
okay.
basketball, varsity and JV.
That's awesome.
I've been there all 4 years. I like McKinney High. I mean, there's nothing I can't say wrong about it.
Yeah. Did you grow up in McKinney?
Yes, I did.
That's
I've been there for all 18 years.
That's great. That's great. And senior year is going well.
Yes, it is. I love my senior year. I mean, there's nothing that I wouldn't change about it.
That's great.
I love it.
Are you on a schedule for the full day, or do you have time that you come in late, leave early? I mean,
I have 1 period off. That's 7th period. But otherwise, I have 1 through 6 classes. So yeah, only 1 period, and I like it. I mean,
You're an office aide. We got you working in the office.
yeah.
terrific. And Ms. Carter, tell us a little about yourself. What do you teach?
Well, I teach English 1 pre-AP and creative writing, and this is my 11th year at High, and I came to Texas from Louisiana.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I
Did you teach in Louisiana as well?
Yes, I did. I taught there quite a number of years, and then I came here to teach in Texas.
With your family?
No, I came alone. I ran away from home. That's what I told.
Oh my
That's
goodness!
what I told my son. He said, "Mother, why are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, kids run away all the time, so I'm running away."
We got a whole other show we need to do about you. Well, we're glad to have you in McKinney then.
Thank
that's
you.
Awesome.
It's good to be here.
Okay, so Ms. Smalskas, kind of get us on the path here of what the Right Way is. How did it begin? Because it's not new to the three of you at all, but it's certainly new to everyone at home. We want to understand kind of how it originated at High this year.
Well, you know, as we go into the planning throughout the summer, we take a look at an overall, we assess where all of our kids are at in terms of reading, writing, math, science, social studies, all of that. And throughout the summer, we started seeing a need for improvement in our writing skills. And I had an opportunity to visit with some college professors and some employers of the community, and a lot of them had reminded me and had shared with me that we have a lot of students leaving high school that simply cannot write. And it really hit me hard when I was watching some kids last year writing, and they're using text messaging language like OMG and thanks is THX, you know, and just some of those simple things. And then also too, I'm working on my doctoral right now too, and we do a lot of writing in class. And just to be able to sit down and even get started, it was kind of an aha for me going, you know, I really wished when I was in school I had the opportunity to write more. And so it just started from there, and knowing that we want to have our kids ready to, when they leave high school, to be able to go out and to their, whatever their next venture is, whether they start their own business, whether they go off to college or university, to be able to sit and write on demand. And so that's kind of where the thought processes came when I started putting this together. And then I took it next to our English teachers to a department meeting and said, this is what I feel we need to do for our students, and then started just brainstorming ideas and ways, and then really leaned on the support of our district coordinator, Deb Stonehage, who's an expert in English language arts. And she gave me lots of really ideas of how to run with it in conjunction with the teachers, you know, and then having to sit down and lay out the whole plan for every single week how this works.
So what is the plan exactly? What happens each week?
Every week what we do is depending on the week, Thursday or Friday, usually it's every Friday at 2:30, or actually 2:27, we come on the PA and we announce the prompt. We release what I call release the prompts. And every English 1, English 2, English 3, and English 4, depending on the week of whatever I decide the prompt's going to be, write on different topics. And the expectation is for them to write for 30 minutes on demand. And you know, no revising, no editing. That's why it's called cold writing. Just to be able to sit and write, and to be able to develop their skills in that aspect. And then they're supposed to turn it into their teachers, their English teachers, on Tuesday, every Tuesday. Then every Tuesday, when the kids come to class, if they don't have their right way completed, then they sit in the teachers are calling it the giddy up corral, but I call it just the corral. I have a corral in the main hallway upstairs at McKinney, and the kids sit out in that corral with myself and one other individual, and we get the kids to write. So they all write. So we have 2,200 students writing every week.
Every week.
Every week.
And the 30 minutes that you said that they put into their writing time is on their own time.
Correct.
And they can write as much as they like. There isn't like a word limit, or as little as they like for 30? There is a word limit.
We really push for a page. Now, we have teachers that have high expectations for some of our kids that can write really good. We try to encourage them to write more than a page. You know, we have, our kids are at different levels, and some kids that, especially our English language learners, that were just learning the language. I've seen kids go from writing maybe 2 sentences to now that we're up to a half a page, and that's huge growth for those students. So it depends on the student, and it depends on the teacher. When they're with me for the 30 minutes, it's a page, because they can do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And one thing that we notice too is that the more the students write, the better the writing fluency gets, you know, and that has been a great improvement since they've been writing so regularly.
Certainly. Yeah. Now the English teachers, do they have a big part in selecting the prompts, determining what the topics are going to be each week? Can you give us some examples of what those are?
Ms. Smalskas is always instrumental in getting those prompts for us. But she goes to different sources, like students come up with prompts and, you know, other sources, but she always releases the prompt.
I see.
So we trust that.
Yeah, absolutely. And does this impact students' grades as well?
Students are graded. We score the writing 1, 2, 3, or 4, and we give, my team does daily participation grades, you know, for that.
Right. So it's a formative
A daily
grade.
grade, yes.
I see.
Formative grade.
Huh. And so we'll jump over to Malcolm and get some from your point of view. There have been, I don't know how many weeks have we had now?
We've released 12 prompts.
12 prompts.
As of last, they were all due today. I had the Write Way today. I had the Corel today, actually.
Okay. So you turn in these handwritten
Yes, I have.
a page or more every week for the last 12 weeks. What has that been like for you from a student standpoint?
Well, for me, it's like I'm learning more how to write now. I mean, because before I was like, okay, I have to think about what I'm going to write, and I have to, like, broadcast it out, like, you know, how to plan it out and how to write it. So now I'm like, okay, I plan it out now, and I'm writing it out and getting it.
All at the same time, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's somewhat hard, but it's not hard because we have the weekend to do it and Monday, so it gives us more time to do it.
Do you feel like there's more stress on you when you're sitting down to write, or is it less stress than, let's say, okay, you've got a research paper that's due in 2 weeks or something like that?
I mean, it's probably more stress because I have to think about, okay, how am I going to start this? Because we have the prompt, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to start the way it's going to be written? Because I have to think about it, so I'm like, how am I going to start this? Because I can't say something that the teacher's going to be like, no, we don't pretty much like the way that we started it.
And you're getting feedback from your teachers, your English teachers, about what you're writing each week. Not just a score, you're getting some feedback about the way you're writing as well.
What I do also is I wait until the day of to say to the teachers, okay, let's look at a thesis statement or conclusion or concession statement, just depending on, and of course I'm leaning on my teachers and my content coordinator for those correct phrases, because English is not my specialty. I have a degree in math and science, and so I lean heavily on my experts in the classroom and my coordinator for the actual English terms, and so then the teachers then utilize that when they're scoring, and they'll see, for example, if the students are struggling with a proper thesis statement, then they'll take that opportunity and reteach that in the classroom. And some of them have used the right way to what we would term metamorphosize the paper and go from, say, a score of a 1, taking it through some writing processes and improving that up to a 3 or a 4. And the kids are also working on knowing what a 4 looks like or knowing what a 3 looks like and what that entails. So yeah, the teachers work hard, and sometimes I surprise them with what they're going to look at when they're scoring it.
What are some memorable prompts that have come across the board? Any of you can answer this question.
Well, I do remember the very first prompt, and it was about why is it important to read? And we all looked at it, we was like, well, really? It was like, this prompt has nothing to do with anything that we have been working on. So it took some time for us to, like, sit down and think about it, since it was our very first prompt. And we was like, well, we're going to have to do it eventually, and we're going to do it. So we didn't want to go to the writing crowd, because our teachers told us that if we go to the writing crowd, that takes away our chances of winning a prize that we get.
Oh, okay, so. Yeah. Tell us about the incentives. I understand there's some incentives.
Well, I just want to make it clear that the incentives are what I call the cherry on top of the sundae. It's not about the prizes, it's about the learning. And you know, when I saw the effort that the teachers are putting in and the kids are putting in, I thought, you know, I'm going to go out to the community and see if I can get some support with some raffle prizes. And we've had some really tremendous gifts that I've been able to give away. And what happens is when the teachers score the papers, if a kid gets a 4, they get 4 raffle tickets. If they get a 3, they get 3 raffle tickets. And then once a month, I get Mr. Harrington, our building principal, to draw a name from every English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4.
Can
So-
teachers write too, submit?
Yes, we've had teachers
Oh,
write. Oh, yes. I also have a wall where it says McKinney High School, or MHS the WRITE Way, 100%. And it's not quite finished yet, but it's, the teachers have a little competition going on to see if they can get 100% of their kids turning in their papers. And so we've got to get it posted. But we want to put it on our wonderful wall of writing. And yeah.
And my philosophy is, if you're going to ask kids to write something, then we ought to be willing to do the same.
Oh, yeah.
So the teachers do respond to the prompt, and after they turn theirs in, then of course I share mine with them, and I've gotten a few
Yeah. Yeah.
ovations.
They like the angle you took and the way you looked at it. It's a way to get to know
Right,
their
and-
teachers better too. That's
And
a
they
great
like
idea.
that, because if you're going to expect the kids to do it, then you should be willing to do it also.
And teachers
We
across
do.
the different content areas are really jumping on board with this, and
that's where there was like a social studies prompt or history prompt previously?
that is correct. We had the social studies department release the prompt before Thanksgiving, and we've trained the social studies teachers on how to score
Oh, that's great.
these papers. And then after Christmas, we've got the math department and the science department all participating. We also have our central office personnel that probably don't know this yet, but they are going to be required to give us a prompt for their students to write on.
That's good. Are you going to tell us some of the prizes, though?
Oh, yeah, well, let's just say this,
And where do
because
we
it's
get
Christmas.
raffle tickets?
I've worked really hard. We've got some really good prizes for, because November, December are kind of short, we've combined them to one draw next week, and we've got an iPad to give away. We have an iTouch to give away, and we have a 23-inch monitor, computer monitor to give away. We theme it every month, and this month is technology. And we have a flip camera, digital flip camera to also give away. This, yes. Every month is
That's
different,
exciting.
so yes.
Well, that's great. That's terrific. Well, I want to kind of wrap up, but want to make sure that we give a shout out to Malcolm in his senior year here. Do you have plans for next year?
I do. I want to go to school and get my education. Go to either become a teacher or do something that's in the recreation area.
Really? That's awesome.
Because I love working with kids and things like that.
That's cool. Well, I wish you the best. But
Thank you.
if you three will stay here on the couch, we're going to do the McKinney ISD famous look-alike next.